How to remove a F-150 cab. This is something that I do very, very often, especially on the Gen 1 EcoBoost. You do a ton of exhaust manifolds, coolant fittings, things like that. And I learned over the years that it's easier on my back, even if it takes a little bit longer, to just go ahead and remove this cab out of the way. It makes things really nice and easy to work on. So there isn't a whole lot that's got to be removed to get the cab off. Believe it or not, we really just come around the engine bay and we're looking for anything that is connected to the engine or the frame that connects then to the body. The battery box, air box, coolant tank, that's kind of my go-to right off the rip. And then I start working on the wiring harness over here on the passenger side. This is where your junction box is, fuse box. So there is a good bit of wiring, plugs that need to be unplugged over here on that side. I'm going to want to drain the coolant out here. You see me disconnecting the upper and lower radiator hose. Now notice where I'm putting all this stuff I'm taking loose on the driver's side. See, I'm tucking it behind that charge pipe. This is a trick that I learned that really helps when you pick the cab up, not get things caught as you go up. On this side, we got a few vacuum lines and wait a minute. We got some activity here. We got us a little friend that come up to see us. Yeah, we're gonna get this master cylinder off here in just a second. It is connected to the frame, goes to your brake. So we kind of just fold it around and lay it up over on top of the valve cover there. Here's kind of a walk around. You can see me just walking around and double checking that I have everything disconnected on both sides. The next step is gonna be to lift this truck up. There's not much underneath. We're gonna go ahead and attack these cab bolts. You can see me taking the bolts out except for the middle two. I'd like to take the nuts off just to reduce my chances of having a cage nut spin on me. You definitely want to be careful here. You can see all the water that gets trapped in there on that bolt. It will cover you. Here we are going after the shift linkage. We're going to snatch the shift linkage off because that goes up with the body. We have one ground strap on the passenger side cab mount right above the door. And then this only applies to the 6R80 because the 10R80s had a cooler mounted to the transmission. We're going to undo the lines at the front. If you don't have an electronic parking brake, you're going to need to disconnect that parking brake cable over on the driver's side of the vehicle. So now we're going to move the lift up under the pinch wells of the cab and we're going to start picking this thing up. I'm by myself, so we got to do this slow. I kind of walk around it about 15, 16 times to make sure that there isn't anything catching as we go up with this cab. It is definitely easier if you have a second pair of hands, but sometimes you're just by yourself and kind of got to just take your time. So there you have it. You see how to remove an F-150 cab. It's not something super hard to do. It's honestly something you could do in your backyard if you had a lift. If you're looking for a more in-depth process of how to remove an F-150 cab, I have a full 20-minute video up on YouTube that goes step by step on almost the same year model truck as this. Go check that out over on our YouTube channel. So that's it for this one. As always, remember, if you're working on an F-150 or F-250, the cab has to come off. Get it out your way.